environment to speak to us. But I just want to give people a snapshot about why we're here in front of Mark Butler MP's office. So, Extinction Rebellion has 3 demands. Tell the truth about climate change. We're in a climate emergency now. Time for talking has gone, time for acting is now. Second demand, act now. Follow the science, take the steps needed to rapidly reduce global warming, which means no more fossil fuel burning. And third demand, our political system is broken. It's given us the situation we've got now, with undue influence from fossil fuel interests through political donations, contacts and all the rest of it. So there's a proposal for a different kind of decision making involving citizens called citizens' assemblies. So that's who and what Extinction Rebellion is. One of the key impacts of climate is already occurring in this country through and internationally. Just let our Harley go.
All right, we're getting back on track.
So necessary, really. Yesterday was World Health Day. Believe it or not, WHO, World Health Organisation. And today I checked the website of the Federal Minister for Health, Greg Hunt, and his Facebook page, thinking, what a great day to say something about health and the environment, because that's the theme of this year internationally. Not a word, not a reference. So I thought, oh, well, let's see Mark Butler, Shadow Minister for Health and Ageing, someone who in the past has had a strong track record as being a climate champion within Labor. Same story. Nothing on the Facebook page, nothing on the website. You would have no idea that World Health Day this year had anything to do with climate and health. So in a moment after we've had a couple of speakers, I'm going to talk to you about our campaign fund solutions, not pollution. But I'd like to ask Dr. Ian Mulligan, a member of Doctors for Health, to come and talk to you about the work they've done, and they've got some great resources on their website for those who can't sleep at night because of the climate distress. Thanks, Ian.
Woo!
It's an absolutely lovely opportunity to come out and dress up and show off my
Woo!
museum shop and wave around my dinosaur on a pole and think about all things climate change and a bit of a festive event. So, first of all, I'd like to pay my respects to the Ghana people, the elders, past, present and emerging. I travelled up here from the southern suburbs, cooking country, today to talk to you. And I just like to say I'm very grateful to the Ghana elders who've taken the time and trouble to explain to me again and again, because it's not getting the first time, that there are the graves of the Ghana forebearers all down the coast where I live. I'm probably walking over them every day as I go about my business, and that they've been there trying to look after that country for a long time, and they're still trying. And I cannot possibly imagine the grief they must feel to look out and see the destruction and rapacious pillagement of their country, which I'm now living on. And I'm just so delighted that climate activists have found a way to listen carefully and try and learn something from the Ghana people. And I think the greatest gift that I've been given from that interaction is the knowledge that people have been living a good life without destroying the environment for thousands of years, right where I'm living at the moment, desperately trying to work out how to reduce my carbon footprint. And that's a very helpful thought. I cling to that thought in my mind's eye, so I'm very grateful.
Just to make sure everyone knows, right now we have Dr. Mulligan speaking, who's a member of Doctors for the Environment.
We can have a good life. It is not necessary.
The dancing action hasn't started yet, but we're hearing some important commentary about climate and health.
As a doctor, you use a lot of high carbon intensity tools. You know, there's drugs and there's surgery and there's anesthetics and there's intensive care and ventilators and oxygen and all kinds of stuff, disposable, masks, all kinds of stuff. And you think, well, how could we have this life that we treasure and enjoy, and how can it continue without wrecking the planet and burning a whole lot of carbon? And it seems impossible unless you stop to think about it. But I'm greatly heartened by the work that Doctors for the Environment has been doing, and they hosted a speaker from the NHS in the UK who is running the NHS zero carbon policy. They're trying to get their entire healthcare system to be able to deliver health without wrecking the environment. And they're changing all their ambulances over to hydrogen, and they're looking at the drugs they use and trying to use the ones that are not so destructive. And one very wise physician said, well, you know, unnecessary care is terribly wasteful of everyone's time and resources and carbon. That shouldn't stop doing that. And another thing that Doctors for the Environment did for me was they did it for all of us really, but I was particularly struck. They commissioned a big report called No Time for Games. And it was a very detailed analysis of the effect of climate change on children and young people. And because they're all scientists, you know, it goes on for pages and pages about, you know, how if you put a baby in a hot car, they cry, and particulate pollution is really bad for your lungs, especially if you're a young person. And thinking that the world is going to end soon is quite bad for your psyche. It really, it didn't make me feel miserable. It made me feel concerned for the young people who've been born since the turn of the century, because in their lifetime they're going to have to work out how to contend with several degrees of climate change, because the world is going to be very different for them than it has been for me. But I think that human beings are very resilient, and they actually can work out how to help each other. And if we can just get a bit of better governance going, I think that they've got a shot at survival. Well, some of them. The ones that are here, the ones that are getting good advice. And it made me understand more about, I spent years and years talking to women about whether they wanted to have a baby or not. And it made me realise that a lot of people think pretty carefully before they have a baby. And a lot of women now are thinking very carefully and not having babies. And in fact, the fertility rate in the world is plummeting. And everywhere where girls go to school and women can earn money on their own, they have less children. Because when you're educated and you've got any say in what you're doing, you often think, well, maybe, you know, there were 4 million people on the planet when I was born. In 1957, there are nearly 8 billion now, and I feel like working lifetime of trying to explain that we need to not eat everything and destroy everything hasn't really worked. But when I look at it more closely, I think there's pretty good evidence that populations are shrinking everywhere where women have the opportunity to have a say in it.
in South Australia and the national community who are so prepared to continuously be fighting for the climate and to be fighting for the future and to be fighting for young people. So I just want to thank everyone who's come out today to support this cause. It just means so much to XR and also to School Strike, because you know, we still need to be optimistic about our future, and with the support of Australians around the country and people around the globe, climate activists around the globe, it makes me hopeful for my future that, you know, there will be change and there'll be more young people who are getting into Parliament and more climate activists and more people, everyday members of the community who show up and who care and who are here and who are willing to be the change makers in the world. That's really all that I have to say. And just to continue to come, to continue to support, and especially in the lead up to the federal election, to vote for climate action, because I and my peers aren't able to vote, but we need people who are willing to hear our voices to really make choices that will represent us.
Yeah! Woo! Again, sorry about
I've
that.
just been told he's got COVID. He would have come out. His staff have taken pictures for him. So make sure you're looking like you want him to be courageous. I don't know what that looks like, but have a go. We'll do a dance. We'll do Stayin Alive for him in a minute. He says we need to build a credible response to climate change. He says the longer we delay action to combat climate change, the more serious those threats will be for our children and grandchildren. He says we must harness the enormous opportunities of a low-carbon economy. He says he accepts the science on global warming caused by humans, and that the International Panel on Climate Change is the most authoritative source for advice about what we've got to do to turn this round. So it is perfectly rational and reasonable for us to say we want and demand your climate courage now.
Woo! Yeah!
Okay, 3 minutes. So today, this is the second of 4 actions outside the office of federal members of Parliament or candidates for federal office. Last Friday, we were at Boothby, outside the office, the campaign office, allegedly, of Rachel Swift, in the most inhospitable part of South Road. No one in attendance, but we were there and we got lots of support from motorists. And our key question was, where is your climate plan? Here today, in front of the Shadow Minister for Health, we're calling on action for climate because of the impact on our health and the health of our planet. WHO said yesterday 13 million people a year die from the impacts of climate on their health. That's many, many, many more people than any of us can imagine. In 2 weeks' time, I'll tell you where we're going. Suffice to say, you'll need damn good pyjamas and a sleepy attitude. And at the end of the month, we're going to visit Simon Birmingham. So this is part of a series of actions around a campaign called Fund Solutions Not Pollution, which is a national Extinction Rebellion campaign with 3 key demands. Number 1, end all fossil fuel subsidies from the public purse. Right now. Stop all political donations from fossil fuel companies, an undertaking the new State Premier of South Australia has already given for the state government.
Woo! Yeah!
And the third demand, you might have heard the words, a just transition for communities and workers. The third demand is, and the science says in Australia we can do it, have a look at rewiring Australia's fact sheets, 200% renewables by 2030.
Woo!
200% because the communities that are badly impacted by a rapid change away from fossil fuels need assistance and support to manage the transition to renewables. And that includes the ability to export our renewable energy. It's all doable. We need the political will, and if they won't do it, we're going to help them find the political will to do it.
Yeah!
So before you go today, please pick up a leaflet, please use the QR code. Every single MP, we don't care what colour or stripe or party, they're all falling short,
Yeah!
needs to get a message saying you, as a citizen of your federal electorate, these are the demands you make. So help us make this big, really big. Okay.
Woo!
Thank you everybody for listening on this gorgeous evening in the gorgeous Port Adelaide.
Yeah!
I live just down the road, and I swam this morning in that infinity pool out there called Gulf St Vincent, but Margaret will probably tell us it's something else. And this morning my companion was a sea lion, and earlier in the week my companion was a dolphin. Port Adelaide is richly endowed with lots of groups working for the environment. So if you live in this area, please join them and lend your support. Everybody could do something, and they're fabulous people. So let's get organised for Stayin Alive.
Yeah!
And let's give it our all. And we've got 3 fabulous dancers. We've got Pearl. Pearl, give us a shimmy. There's Pearl. Joe. Yay! And Amos.
Woo!
And no one can have Amos's cake, okay? So let's get organised. Let's have a really spirited Stayin Alive.
Yeah!
And thank you to the businesses around who've been happy to have us here, and maybe think about supporting them afterwards if you're staying in the port. Thank you, everybody.
Woo! Alright, let's have a look at some of the chalking that's been happening.
If Deb can
Some
come
great
here and
chalking.
pass
Got some from the kids
and we
as well.
can get into formation behind her. And it would be lovely to have Pearl and Job and Amos right up the front, because a lot of people here are over 60. Let me just say that.
I like this pro biking
Some of
chalk.
us
That's great.
are over 80, actually. So
Excuse me?
we really need the kids to show us how to do this.
I love this. I biked here to
And
Port
don't
Adelaide
be
today,
afraid to move.
so I support this. I
We
biked here
need
from the city.
other
It was a
people
great
to
ride.
move on climate.
Look at what the kids have to say. This is important. Oh, I better go look at the dancing. Can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. music loud and women warm. I've looked around since I was born. It's alright, it's okay. We can look any other way. We can try to understand New York Times affect all men. Whether you're a brother, whether you're a mother, we're staying alive, staying alive. See the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive. Dancing man, and I just can't lose. And it's alright, it's okay. It could be another day. We can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, we're staying alive, staying alive. See the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive. Going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah. Tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud and women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born. It's alright, it's okay, we can look the other way. And we can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, staying alive, staying alive. City, city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah. Staying alive. Dan's gonna stay alive. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah. Staying alive. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah. Woo! I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah. Woo! Yeah. Dancing to stay alive. Dancing for the climate. We're all just trying to stay alive out here. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken.
Can we just do a photo shoot with everyone in Travolta, please?
I want to see this. Very important. Gotta get those.
Join the photo, Marshall, everybody, Ollie.
Yeah. I gotta point up at the office. Take action, yeah. Point 2. Yeah, you're the one we want to take more action. Woo! Yeah!